Hello again, and welcome back to the We Don't Have Time studio here in Stockholm. I really hope you enjoyed that fascinating panel from Nature Positive. And now we are going to continue our discussion and broadcast around circularity. As I said before, this broadcast is organized in a partnership between We Don't Have Time, ClimateHero, and Circular Monday. And in only 1 week, we are celebrating the world's largest campaign for circular consumption, Circular Monday on November 24th. But today marks the start of Circular Week that leads up to the 24th. And if you do have a circular product or a service as a business or an organization, I really invite you all to sign up to become a buddy in the campaign and be part of celebrating and spreading the message of circularity. And if you're an influencer or a change maker talking a lot about circularity, we also invite you to be part of the campaign. But if you just want to support the campaign through this from today and to the coming week, please talk about circularity under the hashtag Circular Monday in your social media. And don't forget to officially join it as well. I do believe that we have some technical issues. We are trying to segment, we will have two of the campaign buddies in Circular Monday with us, and we're going to discuss tools and roadmaps. We'll be hearing from two companies that are operating from a circular business model, approaching circularity from their own angles. And they each get a few minutes each to present and talk about their businesses, and then we will follow up with a panel on stage. It is a great pleasure to welcome up here on stage Emil Pettersen and Pia Walter on the stage here. And I have the great pleasure to let you start with your minutes, Emil Pettersen. You are the founder of Reparell AB, and you will share a little bit of Reparell's journey and data-driven credibility and green claims, correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
Want me to start?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I've always learned that never start a presentation with a diagram or anything like it. So I'm putting on a diagram and I will keep it there the whole time I speak. My name is Emil. I'm not a textile guy originally. I'm an economist. I was working 15 years in IT industry, developing platform for society like smart cities and telematic systems for public transportation. By lucky happening, I ended up in the textile industry working for one of the big textile producers in the western part of Sweden. It took me approximately 15 minutes to realize that this industry have never been reinvented. Where I came from, you had to reinvent your own job every day, otherwise you would find it, and the processes outshipped to India within 3 months. So I started thinking about what can be done, what could be improved, and a lot of the answers I got is, well, there will be a better system for this next year or in 5 years, or we're working with something, so we don't alter the business philosophy at the moment. We're waiting for the next step. So 3 years I managed to stay in that kind of positions until I found out that I just have to organize my own textile company and learn the industry from the ground, because if I'm gonna dismantle the business model, which I found fairly ineffective, I needed to understand where it could be trimmed, which variables to look at. What we found, and we're going to talk about roadmaps, but the most important thing before you start making a roadmap is trying to use the actual map and figure out where you are. It's no need with a compass if you don't know where you are when from the beginning. We had some hypotheses. We decided that we would use only a few different yarns. And as you hear, starting a textile industry, I took it down to the yarn, and so to try to figure out what can we do there. We choose to use 3 yarns. One is PET, which was talked about regarding of syre. PET can be made from recycled drinking bottles. It can also be made from lesser worth material. It's more complicated and it's more expensive, but it's possible. We found a supplier of what we call ocean waste yarn, which is yarn recycled from plastic picked up from the ocean. The other yarn we decided to use was recycled tires recycled by pyrolysis. Where you have the pyrolysis oil, you make that to yarn, and then you can make whatever you want. As long as you have the yarn, you pretty much control the narrative. The third yarn, because when you're making things that people should wear, you want a natural fiber. We ended up with buying Tencel, the natural fiber made in an industrial plant, but we decided to use Tencel from Lenzing in Austria, because if you're going to use a yarn that's made from chemical processes, well, it's important that the process is regulated. So these are the only 3 yarns we decided to use. Being a small company, you have to make some more assumptions. We knew that we had European yarn. Well, then we need European production, because one of the most emission-driven factors, which you can see on the screen if you have access to it, is the transportation before the yarn becomes an item. So we set up a production factory in Portugal. So we import the yarn from Italy, Spain, and Austria to Porto, and from the yarn and enters Porto till it's ready-made clothes. It moves less than 40 kilometers. This is obviously driving the expenses using European production, but then again, shorting down the emission, shorting down the cost for transportation goes directly to the bottom line. So we can always discuss whether sustainable or more expensive raw material is feasible or not. But for us, we found that what we lost in one place could be found on the other one. Then we took help of ClimateHero to make an LCA. An LCA is one way of measuring your environmental factors. There are lots of discussions going on regarding different fabrics, different ways of doing things. LCA is fairly scientific, and it's possible to compare it to what you had before and what you had afterwards. And when we did the math by the help of the LCA, we saw that what was actually good for the environment, lesser emission cost, European controlled production where we could control that we didn't have any spill off from the production, more dedicated workers. One of the funniest spin-offs we found during the LCA was that we always thought that producing in Sweden would be the best for the environment, because everybody knows that local is good, right? We learned that it's always local somewhere, and from taking fabric from Spain to Sweden to make the garment here, and you're also transporting the excess material. So if you want to do great things, you have to find the closest route from the raw material to the ready-made product. By the help of ClimateHero and the LCA, we managed to figure out that, hey, sustainability, which for us was the driving, was also economical. That was what paid for the extra expenses. And the fact that when you have an LCA going to consumers, which for us in Reparell is mostly businesses, you see that they actually feel, I mean, they will probably buy it anyway, but having the possibility to put the LCA beside the order, it makes a difference. When we started doing it, wrapping up. I was told to speak longer than I thought, so but it's all right. So what I'm trying to say is that even for small businesses, there is a possibility to reduce your climate impact, and it can also be economical. This is the raw material we're using today, and turning it into yarn has a non-measurable but still sustainable or environmental impact. That's pretty much what I want to say about Reparell. And then again, I'm not against anyone reusing stuff. I'm not against secondhand. We just live in a world where some companies, some customers want virgin production or new products, and then my bit to the party is I can produce something that is recycled when it's new.
Thank you so much, Emil. It was super interesting to hear Reparell's story and how you're approaching sustainability, and also validating your numbers with a life cycle analysis from ClimateHero. But now I have the immense pleasure of introducing Pia Walter, co-founder and Chief Financial Officer and Business Development at Reused Remade, which has a circular business model. That's right?
Yeah, that's correct. Well, I want to start off with saying what a privilege it is to be here today, to be invited to speak. So thank you to ClimateHero, Circular Monday, and the organization We Don't Have Time. So I'm one of the co-founders of Reused Remade. So what do we do? Well, Reused Remade, the idea of Reused Remade came actually from the Paris conference, climate conference back in 2015, where a report stated that if we don't do anything, we could have more plastic than fish in our oceans. And one of the polluting plastic we had were single-use plastic bags. So we decided to look into that. How can we exchange a single-use plastic bag with a textile bag without using virgin material? Because the truth is, as we are aware of in this room, the textile industry is one of the most polluting industries in the world. It accounts for 10% of the global emission of CO2. In the production of textile, 80% of the climate and environmental impact comes from the production process. So we need to look into that. We're getting some few numbers more when it comes to textile. 1 kilo of textile emits up to 40 kilos of CO2. It consumes up to 29,000 liters of water, and it can consume as much as 6.9 kilos of chemicals, of course, all depending on what fiber you use. So what can we do? What material could we use instead? Well, the material that we are using was hiding in plain sight. Discarded hotel bed linen. So this is a fabric that is of high quality. It's well woven because it is to endure multiple hundreds and hundreds of wash cycles in the hotel industry. So by reusing this material as it is, we avoid consuming recycling processes. I know you don't take a textile, but we avoid the consuming recycling processes, and this and can prolong the life of the textile and turn them into, just by cutting, printing, and stitching, into durable, functional, long-living new products. And as Emil said here earlier, the LCA, let's look at the numbers. It is important to know your numbers and what you do. So we did an updated life cycle assessment this year, and we published 2 environmental product declarations for our 2 products, one made in Pakistan and one made in Lithuania. And the facts, the results were clear. We save as much as 80% of the CO2 emission. We save 98% of the chemical use and 99.9% of water by reducing hotel textiles. And in that case, when we talk about transport, the difference between, because we source in Sweden and in Finland, so we made the 2 environmental product declarations for the 2 countries. So the difference between Pakistan and Lithuania is only 0.4 kilos of CO2. So when it comes to textile, that transport has little contribution. The win we are doing is by reusing the material as it is. Reuse Remade is today present at different markets. We supply retailers and companies, organization with white label, private label, branded products such as carrier bags or reusable makeup pads, because we also upcycle terry towels and tablecloth besides the bed linen. We also develop packaging solutions, which is really very it's new, but it's also into the politics right now with the new waste management regulations. So we do everything from production, material collection, production, and distribution. And finally, well, I will round it up. So thank you for having us here today, and let's get some questions.
Thank you so much, Pia. It's super interesting to hear about how Reuse Remade is working and the calculations you've been doing within your company. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I would like to ask both of you a question. What does a successful circular roadmap look like in practice? I know this is a complicated question, but like if we have 1 minute answer each here, like try it.
I was trying to end with yes, but I think a successful roadmap leads up to a business model or a product model that's economical feasible. I believe that all efforts made to do anything sustainable or whatever is only sustainable if it's also profitable. Otherwise it's hobbies or charity, and that's nice as well, but for companies wanting to make a revenue and have a strong bottom line, it's really important that there is economic feasibility, and that doesn't have to be an opposite problem. That, as we show with our LCA, it's actually 2 sides of the same coin. Sustainability is economical viable if done correctly.
Do you agree with that? Yeah.
I do agree with that. I do definitely agree with that. Sustainability needs to be profitable. I mean, all business needs to be that. But I want to circle back a little to what I was talking about earlier, the context that we are living in, that is constructed for linear production that went back to the early 18th century. So I think that we need to get some help from society as a whole in order to really transform from a linear to circular for circular business models. And I also believe that it's within our power to do so, and it's within us as consumers or business makers to do that, to take the baby steps, because we can really make a difference. There are a lot of businesses, a lot of products and services that actually can be reused over and over and over again. So I think it needs to be profitable, but we also need help from the context.
And you wanted to add something here.
We decided before the debate that we should agree about everything. So I agree totally. But one of the problematic things with the sustainable debate is that it's so biased from medium income to high income Scandinavian or North European standards. I mean, discussing an LCA or discussing reusing clothes or linen or whatever, well, that's maybe a problem for us, but there is approximately 5 billion people in the world who doesn't have a problem with too much clothes. So in addition to that, we have to find circle models that are scalable and can be applied globally, because otherwise we're just solving a problem here. And it's nice, we feel good and we make money and stuff, but I think that seeing the acknowledging the global south and the Asia is incredibly important as well, to be able to restore what we've done so bad with the world.
And connecting more with nature again. I would like to circle back a little bit to what you were raising about, like, we need some help to make circular business models more sustainable and profitable. Is there something tangible that you as a business owner can point out right now, like this needs to be fixed or taken care of, or however you would phrase it?
Okay, well, looking into what's coming ahead when it comes to extended producer responsibility for textile, which is great, I believe, taking responsibility for the waste, but making sure that it aligns with the eco directive as well. So actually that reused materials does not get double charged because they are reproduced by material already existing.
With the VAT system, you mean then?
Yes,
Or
so if you have a responsibility for producer responsibility for the textile and put it on the market once, and then you redesign, you upcycle as we do, and then you get charged one more time for the same material. It must be that it's aligned with the eco-design directive, so that it is excluded from double taxation, so to speak. And the same goes when it comes to the waste, because we are working with packaging solutions. Today we look so much on the recyclability, which is great, but it's still for a linear business that we want to do. But also, since it only looks at the recyclability and not where the material comes from, means that what's the initiative to recycle paper, recycle plastic, recycle things if we have the same fees for it? So that's what I would like to see when it comes to the EU regulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I will ask the same question to you, Emil. And what if you can limit your answer to 1 minute, like something tangible?
I believe that all initiatives are good by default, most of them. I believe that if everyone did the best they could with the possibilities they have today and woke up tomorrow and tried to fine-tune it and do it better, I think that would be the solution, because it's not producers' responsibility solely. It's not governmental or consumers. It's a united responsibility. So do the best you can today and do it better tomorrow.
And please stay and sit down, but thank you so much for sharing your insights with all of us today. And I also would like to thank all of you here in the Stockholm studio, for all of you who have been watching online and joining us, and a huge thanks to all of our brilliant speakers and for all of the insightful conversations that we've been having here today during our circularity broadcast. And I think if I had to summarize what we have been hearing today, it would be this: the circular economy isn't just about doing less harm. It's about creating systems that restore, regenerate, and reconnect. We've seen that when businesses, cities, and change makers work together, circularity becomes more than a concept. It actually becomes a movement, quite like Circular Monday. From strategies to systems to stories, today has shown that the future is already being built, one circular solution at a time. And now it is time for all of us to join in on this. Circular Week and Weekend is happening right now, and it leads up to Circular Monday on November 24th. And it is the world's largest campaign for circular consumption. We help to create more circulence, that is the future sustainable consumer out there. We show them tons and tons of businesses that actually produce those products and services that they need, but in a circular way. Visit circularmonday.com and register your business or share your circular story on your social media under the hashtag Circular Monday. Because together, we're closing the loop and opening the future. Thank you.